Record rainfall, cold snaps, and hailstorms across large parts of France are making it tough for winemakers. According to the region's wine governing body, yields of champagne are expected to be down by almost 30% from last year. But as Kate Parkinson reports, winemakers are still optimistic.
It's been one of the worst growing seasons on record, and a stressful time for producers of the world's most celebrated bubbly. With almost every possible weather disaster hitting the region, champagne makers say their harvest this year is one of the smallest in decades.
We had during 4 months a lot of bad effects of hail, rain and frost. Frost will be terrible for vines because it will freeze buds, so it will not be good for grapes and for quantities of grapes we'll have. Hail can be terrible because it will break the leaves and the grapes.
Thousands of acres of vines were destroyed by the bad weather here, and with a cold spring and wet summer across most of the country, yields are expected to fall in all of France's major wine-producing regions. Extreme weather has certainly taken its toll on the vines in Champagne this year, but one thing winemakers in the region all seem to agree on is that despite a particularly tough start to the season, 2012 looks set to be a great vintage. There will still be cause for celebration. Champagne makers say, thanks in part to having to battle against the elements, their grapes are full of flavour this year.
It is surprising, but it is a result of the competition of all these elements, and it gives at the moment a gem, something very unique. After a lot of fights against bad conditions, against elements, against the poorness of the soil, but at the end, when you have a glass of champagne, you say, wow, it's magic. Yes, sure, it's magic.
But the champagne houses won't know until the first tasting in February whether this season will be remembered for bad weather and low yields, or for being an exceptionally good vintage. Kate Parkinson, CCTV, Mailly, in Champagne, France.